the online seminar this afternoon. I hope that we can share our experience, and also Dr. John Wilson share his experience about his journey collecting by the specimen from the Singapore and or maybe in Liverpool and other area in India maybe, and we can learn many things about the biodiversity of the West Sumatra. And also the idea already discussed with our friend in Bengkulu University. I hope someone just joined with us, or if I didn't see yet. But we hope maybe next year or I hope this next year we can help international symposium of the Raffles journey in Sumatra, and it will be held in the University Bengkulu and maybe in Fort Marlborough, where the place Raffles spent his day during his stay in Sumatra 200 years ago. So I hope this afternoon we would like to discuss more about the journey of the Raffles, and also his contribution to our knowledge about the biodiversity. And I hope it is also the beginning of the collaboration between several universities in Indonesia, and also with the university and institutions like Liverpool National Museum in Liverpool. So I hope we can arrange the good symposium for the next year. In this time, I also would like to say thank you for all of you that already joined with us, and also Professor Samsuardi. Thank you very much join with us, Professor. And I hope you would like to give to open officially this seminar after this. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rafia.
That is the speech delivered by Bapak Dr. Wilson Novarino. We thank you. The second speech will delivered by Deputy Dean, Student Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Universitas Andalas, Bapak Profesor Dr. Samsuardi. Afterward, we request to officially open online seminar series Department Biology 2023. Bapak Profesor Dr. Samsuardi, please, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen who attended this Zoom meeting. In the beginning, in this speech, on behalf of the Dean Mathematics and Natural Sciences, allow me, on this special occasion, we extend our sincerest regard to, first, the Honorable Head of Department Biology, Dr. Wilson Novarino, and Head of Program Study Biology, the Honorable Keynote Speaker, Dr. John James Wilson, from Lead Curator Zoology, World Museum Curatorial, National Museum, Liverpool, and Dr. Nur Ainas as a Head of Herbarium, Universitas Andalas. Thank you for Dr. Wilson and Nur Ainas for your contribution and present on this event. Furthermore, the audience invited guests in this event, we are very sorry for not mention your name one by one, because I see in this Zoom meeting, there are some professor, also many scientists that we cannot mention one by one. Next, let us confess some things related to today important activities, that is online seminar series Department Biology, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Andalas, West Sumatra, Indonesia, with the topic that contribution of the Thomas Stamford Raffles on the understanding of Sumatra biodiversity, July 5th, 2023, that just Dr. Wilson already described about the reason of this activity. And we appreciate for the all participants, now 57 participants already here. And I hear some of them from 24 university and other institution like BRIN in Indonesia. In this event, we expected that there will be discussion and input related to the increasing understanding of Sumatran biodiversity, including conservation effort and also sustainable use of biodiversity. This event also, we expected to trigger an increase in cooperation, both research and education, not only between Natural Museum and Andalas University or Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences and Biology Department, but we hope also other institutions from all participation that present in this meeting. And we also hope in this seminar improve our knowledge on the contribution of Raffles on biodiversity study in Sumatra, and also to take his spirit to the empowerment of work of biodiversity conservation in the recent time. In the future, we have a plan to help an international seminar focus on Raffles and biodiversity in Sumatra. And just Dr. Wisono Farlino already mentioned and planned it. Finally, we end this speech and by saying Bismillah Rahman Rahim, even guest lecture officially open and began. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you for Bapak Professor Dr. Samsyardi enlightening speech and for the officially opening the seminar. Next agenda, presentation of material from guest lecture. We know Sumatra is one of biodiversity hotspot in the world. Our knowledge on Sumatra biodiversity also arises since ton of expedition conducted by naturalists and explorers. One of them is Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles. Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles are some of famous naturalists which has visited and worked a notable note on biodiversity in Sumatra. This online seminar is kind of starting point of several events which we'll conduct to improve our knowledge on Raffles' work in Sumatra and his contribution to biodiversity study and conservation in recent times. Before that, let me introduce our speaker. We have two speakers today. First speaker, Mr. Dr. John James Wilson, lead curator zoology, World Museum Curatorial, National Museum Liverpool, and second speaker, Ibu Dr. Nurainas, head of Anda Herbarium, Universitas Andalas. Now, allow me to welcome to first speaker, Mr. John James Wilson will deliver topic about Thomas Stamford Raffles and our knowledge of the Sumatra biodiversity. To Professor, to Dr. John James Wilson, time is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. I'm just going to, I've recorded my talk, so I'm just going to share the video. I'm the lead curator of the zoology collections at the National Museum. Liverpool, in the UK. Here is a photo of me in Singapore at the world famous Raffles Hotel, with the subject of my talk for today, Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles. I became interested in Raffles' natural history collections when, shortly after joining the National Museums Liverpool, I found 5 specimens in our potential types cabinet that were supposedly the types of scientific names quoted by Raffles. I had previously worked in Malaysia and was familiar with Raffles as the so-called founder of modern Singapore. And because I had also previously been a volunteer at London Zoo, I was also aware of Raffles' reputation as a naturalist. The specimens in Liverpool, unfortunately, are not types, but it led me down an interesting path, researching Raffles' natural history collections, particularly those from Sumatra. So how did Raffles become a naturalist? Well, Raffles was said to have had a deep interest in the natural world his whole life. He started working as a clerk at the British East India Company headquarters, shown here in London, at age 14. After 10 years in the London office, Raffles received his first overseas posting, first to Penang and then Malacca in present-day Malaysia. Raffles was heavily involved in the British East India Company's capture of Java in 1811. Afterwards, was appointed Lieutenant Governor of Java for the British East India Company. In Java, Raffles met Dr. Thomas Horsfeld, an American physician who had been employed as a naturalist by the Dutch East India Company. Horsfeld and Raffles became good friends, and Horsfeld proved to be an important influence on Raffles' career as a naturalist. Horsfeld was persuaded by Raffles to give his collection from Java to the British East India Company Museum, and Horsfeld would go on to become curator of that museum in London. Following the conclusion of the Napoleonic Wars in 1815, Java was returned to the Dutch, and Raffles was demoted to Lieutenant Governor of Vancouver, small British East India Company outpost of Sumatra. Raffles took a leave of absence from the British East India Company and returned to the UK. While there, he wrote the History of Java, volume 1 of which is shown here. This was based on Raffles' research and ethnographic collections made during his time in Java. The book earned Raffles a knighthood, and he became Sir Stamford Raffles. During his leave of absence, Raffles toured Europe. Included a visit to the Garden of Plants in Paris, which inspired Raffles' vision of a London Zoo, which we'll come to later. Raffles also visited his cousin, the Reverend Thomas Raffles, in Liverpool. The drawing shows what Liverpool, an important port city in England, would have looked like about the time of Raffles' visit. So Raffles returned to Southeast Asia in 1818, taking up his posting at Vancouver in Sumatra. During this period that Raffles famously established a British East India Company port. Sumatra in May 1818. The local servant led Raffles and his personal physician, Joseph Arnold, to a gigantic flower. It smelled of painted beef. Months later, Arnold died of an unrelated illness. Arnold's notes, specimens, and drawings were sent to England, and the botanist Robert Brown described the plant as new to European science. Reproduction of one of Arnold's drawings is shown here. Brown named the plant Rafflesia arnoldi after both Raffles and Arnold. Raffles and Arnold were not the first Europeans to see a Rafflesia. Even so, the giant flower entered the public imagination, linked to British scientific and colonial exploration. While Raffles was in India meeting with his senior officer, Raffles met and engaged in his service two French zoologists who were to accompany him and make natural history collections. They were Pierre Medard Bayard and Alfred Vassell. Raffles also hired William Jack as his new personal physician and naturalist to replace Joseph Arnold. Also while in India, Raffles had copies made of the natural history drawings of his colleague, Major Farquhar. A copy of the wrinkled hornbill survived in Raffles' personal collection and is now at the British Library. The original from Farquhar's collection and the copy in Raffles' collection are shown here, and you can clearly see the similarity between these two drawings. So Raffles returned again to Sumatra in 1819 with his naturalists, and they spent much of their time at his country house, shown in the stylized drawing here. At his house in Sumatra, Raffles kept a sun bear as a pet. The bear grew up in the nursery with Raffles' children and ate at his table, where he is reported to have enjoyed champagne. This is the scene imagined by AI using the ChatGPT image creator. Raffles is credited as the author of the sun bear's scientific name, Elaptus milianus. In addition to the French zoologist paid by the British East India Company, Raffles was granted funds to hire 4 local hunters, who unfortunately we don't know anything about. With the services of the zoologists and the hunters, Raffles built up a large natural history collection. Raffles and the 2 French zoologists also hired artists to draw animals and plants. We don't know the identity of the artists that they hired, but they were thought to have come from India or possibly China. There was an artist who had worked in Vancouver for the British East India Company earlier and made the drawing that is shown on the slide here. That artist came from India. And these drawings are quite similar to the drawings made for Raffles. These types of drawings were working objects, allowing the identification of species. They are now known as company school artworks and merge Asian and European artistic styles. When Raffles and his zoologists, Dayard and Duverchal, had a spectacular and very public falling out, Raffles seized most of the large natural history collection of specimens and drawings. According to Raffles, the French zoologists had advanced pretensions diametrically opposed to the spirit and letter of their engagement. To avoid the French zoologists taking the credit for the collections, Raffles sent a selection of specimens and 133 drawings to the British East India Company Museum in London, together with a handwritten descriptive catalogue of 164 species for presentation and publication by the Linnean Society of London. The catalogue was actually written by Raffles' personal physician, William Jack. And as you can see from the annotations here, as with all peer review, the manuscript was revised before publication. We think that was by Horsfeld, who was now living in London. The specimens were stored in the British East India Company Museum, where Horsfeld now worked, and later, when that museum closed down, they were transferred to the British Natural History Museum. A few of the surviving specimens are shown as examples here. So there's a pigeon, some parrots, and a kingfisher. The drawings are now found in the British Library, and some examples of those drawings are shown here. The published manuscript provided scientific names for many species new to European scientists. Those names listed here are still valid as full species with the scientific names credited to Raffles. But there are many subspecies in Sumatra with Raffles' name still recognized as valid for those subspecies too. Hopefully you recognize some of these names. Interestingly, some of the names from Raffles' descriptive catalogue were published slightly earlier by Horsfeld in his Zoological Researches in Java papers, and Horsfeld consequently takes precedence as the credited author because he published first. One particularly interesting example of a new species name from Raffles' descriptive catalogue is the green broadbill. There were 2 specimens sent by Raffles to London and 1 drawing. 1 specimen survives at the British Natural History Museum, shown at the bottom of the slide here. And that specimen has conclusively been shown to be the Singapore subspecies, the nominate subspecies. And this is the only surviving specimen from Raffles' collection known to have come from Singapore. The description was published by Raffles, but was preceded chronologically by Horsfeld's description in his researches in Java, in which Horsfeld copied the description from Raffles verbatim. So the authorship of the scientific name for the green broadbill is now usually credited as Raffles in Horsfeld. Horsfeld had a new illustration commissioned for his publication, and that's the dark green broadbill sitting on the branch. And there was also a copy of Raffles' drawing, the one shown in the middle, that had been kept by Dayard and Duverchel, the 2 French zoologists. And that copy is now at the Natural History Museum in Paris. The French zoologists, Dayard and Duverchel, had eventually been allowed to keep triplicates from the large collection that had been assembled. And they also had managed to conceal some other valuable specimens. Dayard and Duverchel sent some birds and 120 drawings from Sumatra to the Natural History Museum in Paris. And many of them are still there. Currently, one of their specimens from Singapore, the taxidermy fishing cat, shown here, was transferred from Paris to the Natural History Museum in the Netherlands, where it can be found today. This specimen was recently rediscovered by colleagues from the Natural History Museum in Singapore. In 1824, having lost 4 of his 5 children to illness and fever in Vancouver, as well as his 2 personal physicians, Joseph Arnold and now William Jack, and also with his own health deteriorating, Raffles resigned from the British East India Company and packed his specimens, drawings, and live animals on board the East Indiaman Fame, the boat drawn in the cartoon here, ready to return to England. According to the memoir of Sophia Raffles, Raffles' wife, there were more than 2,000 natural history drawings on board. And this is how Raffles described the specimen collection: scarce and unknown animal, bird, beast, or fish, or an interesting plant which we had not on board, a living tapir, a new species of tiger, splendid pheasants, company, domesticated for the voyage. We were, in short, in this respect, a perfect Noah's Ark. So, Raffles is not as well known as a naturalist as he might be, because sadly, the fame and all these collections were lost at sea, 50 miles out from Vancouver. In 1844, in his naturalist library, Sir William Jardine describes the loss of Raffles' collection as the most extensive loss of materials natural history had ever sustained. Remarkably, all the passengers, including Raffles and his wife, were rescued. During the 2 months before securing fresh passage on another British East India Company ship, the Mariner, Raffles partially rebuilt up his collection and commissioned new drawings. This included 44 drawings of birds by J. Rios, which are now held in the British Library. Some examples of the birds are shown here, including this wonderful crested fireback. After returning to England, eventually, inspired by the Paris Garden of Plants during his earlier tour of Europe, Raffles set about establishing the London Zoo. During his campaign to be the zoo's founding president, Raffles gave 21 of his Sumatran birds to Lord Stanley, who kept a private museum and zoo at his residence just outside of Liverpool. Although Raffles and Stanley do not appear to have been especially close, I have found no written correspondence between them, Raffles considered Stanley someone of weight, and both were founding members of the Zoological Society of London, the London Zoo, in 1826. Stanley, who would become the 13th Earl of Derby, donated his collections to the people of Liverpool on his death, founding what is now known as the National Museums, Liverpool. Shown here is Stanley's handwritten catalogue with an annotation given to me by Sir Stamford Raffles, and also the surviving 11 specimens still held at National Museums, Liverpool. Raffles died of a brain hemorrhage only 2 years after returning to England in 1826, just after the London Zoo was established. Raffles was commemorated with a statue at Westminster Abbey in London. After Raffles' death, Sophia Raffles donated Raffles' remaining natural history collections to the London Zoo Museum and published a memoir, which included a catalogue of Raffles' collections. Specimens in the British East India Company Museum were listed by Horsfeld, and those in the London Zoo Museum were listed by the Society's Secretary, Nicholas Viggers. The specimens in the London Zoo Museum were used as the basis for a few new species descriptions by other scientists and as models for drawings by famous natural history artists. The London Zoo Museum disposed of its collections in the 1850s. The British Natural History Museum had its pick of the specimens, and all the others are effectively lost, even if they still have somehow managed to survive. So that means that all surviving Raffles specimens should be in the British Natural History Museum, either via the British East India Company Museum or the London Zoo Museum. But as you know, remarkably, we do have some also in National Museums, Liverpool. A couple of the specimens in the British Natural History Museum are shown here as examples, ones that came to that museum via the London Zoo Museum. And this blue-backed parrot doesn't have a Raffles name on the label, but based on a matching deformity in the bill, matches with the drawing from Sumatra by J. Rios. I believe it is from Raffles' collection. The currently valid scientific name for this species comes from Raffles' descriptive catalog. Raffles recorded 241 bird species in Sumatra through his specimen collections, commission drawings, and observations. So that accounts for between 1/3 and 1/2 of the birds known from the island were recorded by Raffles. Consequently, he is often listed as a scientific pioneer in European field guides to the birds of Sumatra. Other famous European naturalists followed in Raffles' footsteps, traveling to Sumatra and acquiring specimens from hunters. These included Alfred Russel Wallace, famous as the co-originator of the theory of evolution by natural selection, along with Charles Darwin. Wallace sold specimens to the Liverpool museums, as well as other museums. And Henry Oxford, a professional natural history collector and future director of the Liverpool museums, also collected in Sumatra. That was in 1881. So consequently, the National Museums Liverpool has a large collection of Sumatran birds, many with scientific names attributed to Raffles. And I'm continuing my research into these collections. So I'd like to acknowledge support I have received for my research into Raffles collections, and thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for Dr. Jem for your amazing information based on Thomas Stamford Raffles talk in his book and so on. What amazing lecture today. And I'm sure our audience has learned a lot today from today. Thank you for your presentation about Thomas Stamford Raffles and our knowledge of the Sumatra biodiversity. After this, let's move to the next session, the second speaker. Please welcome Dr. Nurainas with topic discussion about exploration of Sumatra biodiversity based on herbarium specimen. To Dr. Nurainas, please, time is yours.
Thank you, Rapia. Do you hear me? Yes, Rapia.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And how about our slide?
Okay, clear.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Tesri.
Clear, bro.
Okay, thank you, Rafia, for time for me. And ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Dr. Wilson John James, good afternoon also. Where is James? And the Honorable, our head department biology and then of Faculty of Mathematics and Science. Okay, we talk about exploration of Sumatran biodiversity based on the herbarium specimen. This session, our head department we promote our herbarium to the audience here, but I look in participant here. I think our most of them our friend, and more of them has been visit herbarium before, herbarium Andalas before. Okay, and to start our speak today, we talk about Rafflesia because topic of the meeting our today about Raffles, and we start about the Rafflesia. You can our slide is okay. No, slide is my is my computer.
Need to do slideshow, Mom.
Yeah, okay. Slideshow. Okay.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Bu Yeni. In this picture, from the local edible fruit in Padang, we make photo. We make picture. We make the photo when we research about the local edible fruit in Padang, and our local edible fruit are varied, beautiful, and unique. And we start our talking about Raffles. This is connected our flora, Sumatran flora and Raffles, I think, in Rafflesia. Rafflesia, we know the family get name from Raffles. Rafflesia until now we know as the biggest single flower among the plant kingdom until now, and we know there is very interesting story about the Rafflesia and Raffles. If you want the complete history, I think you can read by yourself in the Flora Malaysiana, Series 1, Volume 13. And we know Raffles not the first researcher discover Rafflesia, but another researcher from the French first Rafflesia in Java. It is the interesting story, and if you want to know more, you can read by yourself in the Flora Malaysiana. And then after Raffles, our head department want me to talk about the herbarium specimen in Andalas Herbarium. And maybe we start about the Rafflesia in our province, Rafflesia gadutensis. This species not for locality type near from our campus, and not for only 5 minutes from our campus, and Rafflesia gadutensis from the Gunung Gadut. And now we know Pak Rizal also now habitat pressure is very high now. And we also have the Rhizantes zipelii from the another genus of the family Rafflesiaceae, available on the Andalas campus area. On the Andalas campus area, only 2 or 3 minutes from the biology campus, we can look this species. We have forest in the campus. We call the HPPB, forest biology, forest for research and education. And Rhizantes pelii available from the forest. And for Sumatran flora, we know we don't have flora book like Flora of Java now, but we can get some of the book of flora about the flora of Sumatra, easy to get. We know the Sumatran zines planted by Miguel is initially publication of Sumatran flora, and after that many book flora about the specific taxa now available in many media now. And currently we can obtain many also scientific article about, I'm sorry, my low bit. My computer is low bit, I'm sorry. Okay, it's clear now. And next slide, we talk about the specimen in Herbarium Andalas University. We have an herbarium in Andalas University, and this herbarium administrated by under the Department of Biology Andalas University, dan and herbarium center for flora Sumatran study used by students and scientists in Indonesia and abroad. This herbarium has, I'm sorry, this since 1994, Herbarium Andalas has been indexed in Index of Herbarium. In index, so that Herbarium Andalas is listed as one of the 3,085 currently active herbarium in the world now, and also herbarium indexing in Indonesian herbarium by Herbarium Bogoriense. In management of our herbarium, before we manage the specimen as conventional herbarium, all specimen in our cabinet, and we don't have a database, and also we don't have catalog, fully catalog, and not easy to get the specimen quickly. But now, since 2018, we try to digitize all our specimen. And 2018, we collaborate with DGBIF, Global Biodiversity Information Facilities, to get digitalization and mobilization our specimen. And we have digital a part of our specimen in Andalas. We store in the we share online and offline. This is the number of specimen that we have digitalized. Our total specimen, specimen 65,000, and more than 50% has digital, and a part of them has published online now. This is analysis about the specimen that we have published. 2009 family we published. In this specimen, more of them record in the UCN status, and this is this slide show to us 44% protect species from the government, and also has access by the UCN status, and we have 9%. The category is Indonesian protected species, and 7% critical endangered, 8% endangered, and 4% near threatened. And this slide geographic covered our specimen, all our specimen from the Sumatran island, but also our specimen from the peninsular Malaysia, Borneo, and Java. And this is this slide show to us collected all of our specimen. We have specimen from the collected from the 1940, 1938 until now. And in this slide also talk to us about the we have spec of our specimen in published into 2015, because in this time we have the collaborated research in any NGO in Sumatra. And now we're talking about the benefit after specimen digitalization. After that, what the benefit we get after our specimen digitalized? We use our specimen for the research student and also use for the conservation status, conservation action, and conservation purpose, and also contribute to global scales research, and also potential species development, for example, medicinal plant. I give to some example for the student of our student in Andalas University in biology. Now we research about the Sumatran ginger, Sumatran zingiberacea. From the current analysis, we estimate next exploration in Sumatra, we not collection in Bengkulu. From the occurrence of the we get occurrence from the digitalized specimen and GBIF, digitalized specimen in Andalas, we not have collection from Bengkulu, and we can estimate if we go to exploration next time, we be better to go to Bengkulu to collection of the ginger. And a specimen digitalization, specimen digital also we use for the analysis. Just a simple talk. This one, academia and national park use the GBF data to propose conservation policy. In the some even to compare data with our field and data survey. For example, this one, our study in the cards, and now we use the data from the digital digital specimen to identify and to compare our data result from our survey. And also we use the data for the action of conservation. We can estimate species. We can estimate the species. What species? What kind of species that we be better grow in the axis to conservation? For example, we use data in the Solok Botanical Garden. Axis to conservation, we choose the species that be better. We grow in the Solok Botanical Garden. And also for our data will be contributed to global research and will be contributed to biodiversity global data, and all our research can used by the another researcher and the conservationists to make estimate and to make policy, to make the action for the conservation. I think is okay. I think the finish our my presentation, and I'm sorry, my English is not good. If you want to know by detail, you can contact biology department or Andalas Herbarium. Okay, Rapia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ibu Nurainas. Thank you for Ibu Nurainas that explained about Sumatra biodiversity, about herbarium and flora malaysiana. And next, we will enter the discussion section. If you have any question for both of our speaker, you can raise your hand or write a question in chat.
If I have question,
Yes, sir.
can
Time is yours.
gimana caranya yang bertanya nih?
Baik, silakan Pak. Boleh langsung saja.
Langsung aja.
Ya, Pak.
Hah? Halo.
Baik, Pak. Ya, Pak. Silakan untuk pertanyaannya, Pak.
My question to John, ya, Mr. John. Siapa nama
Yes, John James Wilson, Pak. Dr.
John. Can I call John?
John,
I have for you.
You still here?
Yeah.
My question about the egg and bird size. This correspond belong your research if the big body of the bird also big egg, and the other if the egg big, this from the big body of the bird. Can you understand?
Yeah, I can understand, but to be honest, I'm not sure the answer to that question. We have an egg collection at my museum, but it's from the UK. We don't have eggs from birds from Sumatra, so I haven't done any research into eggs. So I'm not sure the answer to that, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you so much for Mr. James. Maybe we will next to the second participant, Rahimina Zain. Please go ahead for your question. Sebelumnya, Ibu boleh untuk di open mic dulu, Bu.
Okay, thank you, MC. Hello, John Wilson. Your name is a combination of two people from the Lampung University and Andalas University. The first Professor John Henry, she's my friends from Lampung University, John, and Wilson is the head of Department of Biology of Universitas Andalas. Then your name is combination of John Henry and Wilson. Yeah, okay. And I have two questions. First question, you told that the Raffles died caused by the brain hemorrhage disease. Yes, as we know that the Raffles flower is one of flower has the toxic has a chemical toxic in the body. Do you know why the Raffles died? Because the is it the die of the Raffles died because the after contact with the flower Raffles, the chemical toxic by Raffles flower? The first question. And the second question, why the flower, Raffles flower, can distribute to other place by the bird? Yes, I have two questions. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. They're very interesting questions. And but yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, some of the other participants in the call might be able to answer better than me. What I've read about Raffles' death, then I have never seen anybody linking it to his contact with the Rafflesia. I know initially they thought that it was due to a brain tumor, so cancer in his brain, but then there's been some debate more recently that it may have been a long-term condition that he had in his brain that that led to the hemorrhage at that particular point, because apparently he suffered from headaches for all of his life. So yeah, they don't really know, I think, is why exactly he had the hemorrhage at that point in time. But yeah, I've never seen any research that have linked it to contact to the Rafflesia flower. But yeah, as I say, maybe some of the other participants in the call might also have some thoughts about that. Yeah, so the second question was about, go ahead, remind me again, please.
Why the bird can the distribution of the Raffles flower in the other place?
Okay. Also, I haven't read about that either, unfortunately. Sorry. So maybe some of the other researchers may be able to pick up on the answer to that. But yeah, thank you for your question. Very interesting.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. James that answered it so well. So in this chat, we have several questions. Maybe I will read it for you. First one from Bapak Budi Setiadi Daryono. The question is, hello, thank for sharing the information of specimen of Indonesia biodiversity, Sumatra and Malay Peninsula, which mostly already available online. As a chairman of Indonesian Biology Consortium, I'm very happy and congratulations for biology Andalas. I'm sorry, that's not the question. The question is from Bapak Ganjar Cahyadi. Let me ask question for Dr. Wilson. On your experience, how to maintain this enigmatic Raffles zoological specimen in your museum so that it can be the object for recent research? And for the second speaker, Dr. Nurainas, do you have herbarium program in introducing amazing species of flora that even can be found next to your campus to the non-scientific community? For the first question, Mr. James, please answer it directly.
Yeah, thank you again for that question. It's one that we get quite a lot by visitors to the museum. So basically, when they first preserved the specimen, they remove all of the internal organs and they dry out the skin. Probably in those days, they would have used arsenic to dry out the specimen. So once it's dried, then it's mostly will not be attractive to so many pests, and it also will not decay. So that's how the specimens are managed to preserve for 200 years. So in our museum, we keep them in cabinets that are sealed to prevent pests from being able to enter and to damage the specimens. And we also try to maintain temperature and humidity to prevent the growth of, mostly it will be moths, Lepidoptera, that would damage these specimens. So we maintain a low temperature and a humidity that discourages these type of pests. But other than that, there's not much that we do to preserve them. We just keep them locked away, try to limit the amount of time that they are put, and keep them out of bright light, because that will cause the colors to fade. But yeah, that's how we preserve them, so that they are still survive for 200 years and that they're still available for research today. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dim, for your answer. And the second question for Dr. Nurainas, please go ahead.
Oke, saya jawab bahasa Indonesia ya Pak ya, terbata-bata kalau bahasa Inggris. Terima kasih Pak Ganjar. Kita program khusus untuk non-scientific community itu tidak ada Pak, tapi kita selalu menerima kunjungan herbarium namanya atau open lab. Jadi herbarium selalu menjadi salah satu tempat ketika siapapun itu yang datang untuk melakukan kunjungan lab di jurusan biologi, di Departemen Biologi. Kami juga menerima kunjungan mulai dari elementary school, kemudian junior high school and senior high school to go to our herbarium, hanya sekedar untuk melihat beberapa spesies mungkin yang mereka pahami di tingkatnya begitu Pak, mungkin itu. Jadi kita selalu terbuka untuk menerima kunjungan dari siapa saja, mau scientific community ataupun bukan scientific community. Nah begitu mungkin jawabannya Pak. Dan untuk tadi dari Pak Profesor Budi, terima kasih Pak. Itu ada pertanyaan di situ. Pak Profesor Budi Setiadi Daryono, beliau adalah ketua dari KOBI. Ya benar Pak Wilson ya? Ketua Biology Consortium Indonesia.
Ya, betul.
Ya. 65 spesimen kita memang belum semua kita share di internet Pak, belum semua kita publish. Tapi 50% spesimen kita itu sudah dalam bentuk digital. 34.000-nya sudah tersedia secara online melalui web GBIF Pak. Web GBIF Global Biodiversity Information Facilities dapat diakses melalui itu. Nah gitu Pak. Dan sisanya yang sudah kita digital itu tersimpan di database offline kita di herbarium. Yang siapa saja membutuhkan tentu saja bisa berkontak ke kita di Herbarium Andalas. Terima kasih. Terima kasih, Pak Repia.
Thank you, Bu Nurainas, that really explain about Herbarium Andalas open to non-scientific and scientific community like a student and others. So the next question from Miftahul Ilmi. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Raffia, as a moderator today. Let me introduce myself, sir, and ma'am. My name is Miftahul Ilmi. I'm from Andalas University in third year now. First of all, thank you for Dr. James and also Dr. Nurainas for your amazing explanation today. In this occasion, maybe I have a question for you, Dr. Nurainas. I'm interested with the Rhizanthus zipeli species that you noticed before. To be honest, I just know this species available in around our campus. I don't know before. If I'm not mistaken, before you say about this species is Raffles in IUCN. So my question is, are there any conservation efforts that have been driven by Andalas Herbarium to protect this species now? Maybe that's all. Thank you.
Oke. Terima kasih Miftahul Ilmi. Rhizanthus available in our HPPB, forest biology. Untuk konservasi, sebentar. Untuk konservasi action di biologi mungkin bisa Pak Ketua Jurusan, Ketua Departemen akan menambahkan tentang ini. Khusus untuk ini sebenarnya tidak ada, tapi kegiatan kita dengan memprotek hutan kita, hutan HPPB, dengan memprotek itu dengan kunjungan terbatas, itu adalah suatu kegiatan konservasi sebenarnya. Nah, itu mungkin jawabannya. Kalau mau lihat boleh nanti suatu saat kira ada kegiatan tentang itu. Boleh juga tuh kalau Anda mau handle kegiatan itu, kita adakan aksi sehubungan dengan itu. Bisa satu event untuk berkunjung ke melihat Rhizanthus di HPPB dan berkunjung ke herbarium. Silakan nanti mungkin adik-adik dari himpunan untuk mempersiapkan ini, akan sangat menarik saya rasa, dan kita buka untuk siapapun yang berminat. Ya, itu Miftahul Ilmi.
Terima kasih banyak, Bu.
Okay, thank you so much for Ibu Nurainas that explained about conservation Rhizanthus that we have in our campus. And the next question from this is from the chat, Laboratorium Genetica and Biomolecular. I will read the question. Firstly, thank you for the speaker, Dr. Wilson and Dr. Nurainas. Let me ask a question for Dr. Wilson. Did Raffles only focus on bird and plant, or maybe he also researched about other taxa such as a mammal, reptile, but no publication? Thank you. For Mr. Wilson, please welcome.
Yes, thank you again for that question. Raffles he didn't just focus on birds and plants. He also collected mammals and reptiles. So the publication that he sent to the Linnaean Society of London, there's a section there as well, his publication, his listing of the mammal species that he collected from Sumatra. I mostly focused on birds in the talk because we have birds specimens from Raffles in Liverpool, so that's my particular focus, is his bird collections. But no, he did, the sun bear that I mentioned was also part of that publication by Raffles, and that's where the Linnaean name for the sun bear comes from as well. So that species name is credited to Raffles. And there's other monkeys and other types of mammals as well, squirrels, that he described scientifically for the first time. So he has the scientific name. Yeah, thank you. Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Wilson. Maybe we next to the next question in the chat from Ibu Dian. Dr. Nurainas, can anyone access the online herbarium? If it's accessible, could you please tell us the address where we can access? And secondly, it will really great if Herbarium Universitas Andalas and maybe BRIN could collaborate to make a Flora of Sumatra. I believe such a book will be beneficial for student, researcher, and practitioner to get in-depth insight of flora species in our region.
Oke. Terima kasih Bu Dian, ini pertanyaan sungguh menarik buat kita. Kalau untuk akses spesimen yang sudah kita publish secara online, itu bisa aksesnya dengan bebas, Bu. Siapa saja boleh akses melalui web GBIF, Global Biodiversity Information Facilities. Kita menggunakan platform GBIS untuk mempublish data kita. Nah, begitu. Ini juga dilakukan oleh Herbarium Bogoriense. Bogoriense juga menggunakan platform JBIF untuk mempublish data tipe, kalau nggak salah, yang sedang dikerjakan oleh teman-teman dari Bogoriense sekarang. Itu untuk pertanyaan pertama. Yang kedua, benar Bu Dian, kita harus berkolaborasi untuk menghasilkan suatu buku Flora Sumatra. Sebenarnya gagasan ini itu telah dibicarakan atau telah didiskusikan dalam beberapa meeting setelah pertemuan PTTI Penggalang Taksonomi Tumbuhan Indonesia beberapa tahun lalu, setahun lalu. Nah, kita sudah beberapa kontributor untuk menyatakan bahwa bersedia membantu untuk ini, tapi ini masih menjadi PR besar untuk kita semua, terutama botanis yang expert yang bekerja khususnya di Sumatera, Bu. Kita belum mampu sampai saat ini untuk menghasilkan suatu buku yang komprehensif tentang flora Sumatera. Jadi ini memang butuh kolaborasi dan kerja keras kita bersama. Walaupun kita tahu bahwa beberapa flora, buku-buku flora memang di Indonesia yang sudah ada itu Flora of Java memang bukan karya kita, tapi kita pasti bisa juga. Sekarang itu semua sudah dimudahkan. Apalagi dengan serba digital semua bisa mudah gitu. Jadi benar Bu Dian, mari kita sama-sama berkolaborasi untuk menghasilkan suatu buku yang akan berarti bagi flora Sumatera. Di sini juga kita lihat ada dekan FMIPA Bengkulu juga nih, mungkin bisa juga mengkaryakan botanis-botanis beliau di sana. Dari BRIN ini banyak, Bu Weni sekalian nyapa, Bu Weni, Mbak Destri, juga Pak Suratman dari siapa lagi di sini. Banyak sekali, kita mesti berkolaborasi untuk menghasilkan suatu yang sangat berarti untuk flora Sumatera. Mungkin itu harapan kita. Tadi saya juga lihat Pak Arifin di sini juga nih. Pak Arifin dari Herbarium ITB juga ada di sini, saya lihat tadi. Mari bantu kita untuk mewujudkan suatu buku flora Sumatera yang komprehensif yang bisa kita gunakan bersama. Begitu mungkin jawaban saya, Bu Dian. Silakan, Rafias.
Okay, thank you, Bu Nurainas, for your answer. And the next, we have Pak Wilson Novarino that raise hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Rafia. Okay, Dr. Jones, thank you very much for share your opinion about the Raffles collection for us this afternoon. And maybe you already got some point also from the participant about what that has been done by the Indonesians taxonom about the collection of the plant specimen in our university. So my question is, as you also know before, many museums in the world chase the problem about the continuity. Yeah, there is a paper that published about the decreasing amount of the people that come to the museum, and also in several countries, the museum lack of the financial support. So in several countries, the museum already closed, and we lost many information, huge information from the museum like that.
Yeah.
That's why in Andalas University, we get the problem to expand our museum. Information for you, in Andalas University, we also have a museum. Some of the collection is it's very a rare specimen. We have the specimen of the Sumatran hare, the Salogus netseri, and the holotype I think is only in Germany. I'm not sure. Is this how many number of the specimen is available in the museum in Indonesia? But we lack about the financial support to manage our facility. So that's why I'm also asking you to share your experience to manage your museum. What about the how can we get the financial support not only from the government, maybe from the another source like that? It is my first question. The second point that I would like to share with all of the participants. Right now, Dean of the Faculty of Mathematics and Science from the Bengkulu University, Dr. Jarulis, also already joined with us. And as I already mentioned before, we would like to help the international symposium regarding for the commemorable of the Raffles journey in Sumatra. Just we hope maybe next year, Pak Dekan, it will be possible for us to join together to share our experience about the biodiversity survey and conservation in Sumatra and share our experience each other. And also regarding the issues that already arose from this discussion before about the book of the Flora Sumatra. During the discussion about Indonesia Biodiversity Strategic Action Plan, IPSAP, the next IPSAP, the issue that arises is maybe as you all of you know before, the ecology of Sumatra, written by the Tony Whitten in 1984. So it's almost 40 years ago. And of course, there is a lot of things already changed in Sumatra. So I think if our university that come from the Sumatra and also from the western region of Indonesia would like to join together, maybe it is time to prepare the new edition of the Ecology of Sumatra, just written by the people from the university in Sumatra like that. So maybe we can share our effort and working together to formulate something new about that thing. So there is the point that I would like to share with all of you. And I hope that John, you would like to give your opinion about how to manage the museum. Thank you.
Thank you. What a huge question. So yeah, I mean, as you said, around the world, there's a struggle to maintain museum collections, and that's also the case here in the UK as well. We are fortunate that we are quite a large national museum here in Liverpool, so we are funded directly by the national government, and we have managed to maintain quite a high number of visitors. So we're the most visited museum in the north of England. But yet, smaller, more regional, local museums are struggling, and in recent years, our collections have grown through absorbing the collections from those smaller museums as they've closed down. How to get financial support? Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I was very impressed that you have so many of your collections already on GBIF. That's a huge achievement, and I think that is the way to get them out into the public so that researchers are using them, that people are aware of the collections, and then once people know about the collections, maybe then it will be easier to galvanize support and funding to maintain those collections. So does your zoology museum also have their records on GBIF at the moment? I know in Liverpool, it's also something that we are doing is publishing data onto GBIF, but it's a lot of work. And yeah, and as I say, it's very impressive that you have so many there already, because to prepare the data, clean up the data, take the images is a huge amount of work. So yeah, that's great that you've done that.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. Jem and Bapak Wilson for the question and the answer. I think that's the last question from the participant, because I don't see anything in the chat and no one raised hand. So if we go to the next section, is the conclusion. I wanna welcome to the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science from Universitas Bengkulu, Dr. Jarulis, to give us a speech. Dr. Jarulis, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Bu Rafia. Thank you, Pak Wilson. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially for Dr. John James Wilson's lead from the Liverpool National Museum. Let me introduce myself. I am journalist from the Department of Biology, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Bengkulu University. I also thank Dr. Norainas, who has explained about Sumatran flora, especially about the Rafflesia arnoldi species, which today for Rafflesia arnoldi from Bengkulu has uniqueness compared to other in Sumatra. This report based on Susatia, yeah, Susatia, Agus Susatia, Agus Susatia, yeah, several years ago. And we are very happy and thank you to Dr. James for the information about Thomas Stamford Raffles' hard work for Sumatra's biodiversity, for especially for plant and bird, mammal, and also others taxa, I think. He has collected many animal samples, and they still available in several museums around the world today. Yeah, for example, at the Lipi Zoology Museum, Indonesia, London Museum, and Liverpool Museum too. In Bengkulu, the name of Thomas Stamford Raffles is quite famous, I think. Because his name is written on the information wall of Fort Marlborough in Bengkulu. Everyone who visit this fort generally read this information, and he lived in Bengkulu for quite long time. Stay in Bengkulu, so I think to reinform his journey in Sumatra. Yeah, especially in Bengkulu, I think it's very interesting. For example, this reinformation can we do by international seminar session, maybe like Dr. Wilson says. And for the seminar, we are ready to become a committee. Then we have talked this discussed with this seminar in the Department of Biology in Bengkulu University, and also with Dr. Wilson Farino. So we are ready to do this seminar, to help this seminar collaborate with two department in two biology department in Sumatra. Maybe that all that I want talk this afternoon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for Dr. Duralis that have give us a speech. And today we have heard from two amazing speakers today. We have given us different perspective and insight on this topic today. The first speaker, Dr. James or Dr. Wilson, focus on the Thomas Stamford Raffles and his book, while the second speaker, Dr. Nurainas, focus on about Sumatra biodiversity, flora malaysiana, and telling us about herbarium Universitas Andalas. From that, we can conclusion of today's seminar is that we got a lot of mind-opening information about Sumatra biodiversity, and also if we talk in terms of the history described in Thomas Stamford Raffles' book about Sumatran plant, and also about the herbarium of Andalas University. And there are opportunity for a future collaboration for the latest research and effort to conservation Sumatra biodiversity. And we are reached the end of agenda. Let us close the our international online seminar today with reading Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah. We hope that our invited guests can have a great experience and have a get information from today's seminar. And we hope the improvement of our knowledge on contribution of Raffles on biodiversity study in Sumatra, and also to take his spirit to empowerment of our work in biodiversity conservation in recent time. Me, Rafia, as a moderator, would like to thank to the audience for the participant, and I'm also apologize if there are words or action that are least pleasing. Thank you so much. I'm close with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mungkin bisa foto bersama.
Thank you very much for lesson.
Okay.
Ya, Bu.
Okay. Dr. John, thank you very much for your time, sharing your experience with us. Dr. Nurainas also as our keynote speaker this afternoon. Thank you very much. And also thank you very much for Professor Samsuati and Dr. Jarulis, Vice Dean and Dean of the Mathematics and Science Faculty, and also to all of the participants. I'm also would like to special thank to Rafia. As information for all of you, Rafia is our outstanding student, 2023, and she also already done with the Sakura Science Program to Japan, and also recently she is doing her research regarding the understanding the distribution, population, and spatial ecology of the critical endangered brown tortoise. So it is a slight information about Rafia. Thank you very much, Rafia. And I hope it is not our end of our collaborations. I hope that we will discuss after this about how to help the international symposium regarding the Raffles journey in Sumatra. I hope the collaboration from all of you for that symposium that will be hosted by the Bengkulu University. Is that okay, Mr. Dean, Pak Jarulis?
Thank you, Pak. Terima kasih, Bapak.
Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you very much for the all participants. Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih ya semuanya hadir. Ya. Terima kasih Pak Jarulis.
Terima kasih Pak Prof.
Panas ya bilang itu.
Terima kasih Pak Wilson, Pak Jarulis.
Ya Pak Prof Jani.
Mas Prof Jani ada, oh ya makasih banyak.
Ada Pak Prof Jani. Alhamdulillah.
Kita sore ini. Prof Jarulis besok kan. Kemarin udah Prof Arum di Palembang. Mantap semua.
Saya ada diambil di person.
Oke, izin live. Assalamualaikum.
Ya.
Panes. Lari lo panes.
Lari.
Pak Dekan.
Iya
sehat.
Pak, ya
Salam
salam
sehat.
sehat Pak. Alhamdulillah Pak, sehat Pak.
Sehat.
Dekan,
Alhamdulillah.
MIPA Unip, mantap.
Prof Wan.
Mudah-mudahan cepet lo menjadi GB. Nah,
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Makasih Wan.
Siap.
Ya. Izin